We train for the things we expect. Smooth cornering, quick stops, good clutch control. The things we can practice in a parking lot where nothing surprises us. But the real test of a rider doesn't happen in a parking lot. It happens when the driver in the left lane suddenly turns across our path, when a car drifts over into your lane without warning, or when the traffic ahead slams on the brakes and you've got a split second to react. Sometimes it's not even another driver, it's you. A handful of too much front brake, a tire suddenly loses pressure, or a mechanical failure that you didn't see coming. Those are the moments that define a rider, when there's no time to think, only time to react. Today on MCrider, we're talking about how to be ready for the unexpected, because you can't always predict what's coming next on the road, but you can prepare yourself to handle it when it does. If there's one situation that's taken more motorcyclists by surprise than any other, it's the driver who turns left in front of you at an intersection. You're going straight, they're waiting to turn, and in an instant they pull across your lane, cutting off your path with nowhere to go. The truth is, this one is not that rare. It's the number one multi-vehicle crash scenario for riders in the U.S. according to the NHTSA. About 42% of all motorcycle crashes involving another vehicle happen when that vehicle is turning left, usually in front of the rider. The problem isn't always that they didn't see you. Sometimes they saw you, but they misjudged your speed or distance. Motorcycles are smaller, and drivers often underestimate how fast we're closing in. That's why intersection strategy is so important. When you're approaching an intersection, don't ride like you've been seen. Ride like you haven't. Ease off the throttle just a touch, cover the front brakes, and position yourself in the lane where you're most visible to that turning car. You also may want to do a slight weave back and forth to add some motion to that front headlight if you've got the time and space to do that. But make sure you're positioned in that lane where they're most likely to see you. If you see a bit of movement from their front wheels or a gap they might try to take, be ready. So having some awareness a few seconds early gives you the time and distance to respond smoothly instead of reacting in a panic. The smart rider understands that intersections are danger zones, one of the most dangerous zones on the road. You can't control what the other drivers do, but you can control your own speed, your lane position, and your readiness to react. That's what turns a close call into just another story instead of another statistic. I've got videos on this subject of swerving, emergency braking, and brake and escape, and those are core skills that every rider should practice. There are also specific exercises found in the field guide that you can practice on any open parking lot. So you can get a field guide for free if you become a member on the pro level and sign up and pay for 1 year in advance. You'll get an email, and I'll send one of these to you free of charge. Just follow the directions in that email, or you can purchase them on Amazon, and I'll have links to all of that down in the description of this video and probably in a banner later on in this video where you can order a copy on Amazon also. You're riding along, holding your lane, and out of nowhere a car starts drifting over. No signal, no shoulder check, just a slow, steady move right into your space. It's one of those moments where you realize how invisible a motorcycle can be. Drivers may glance in their mirrors, they look right at you, and somehow they still don't register that you're there. It's a real thing. It's called inattentional blindness. Their eyes see the bike, but their brain filters it out because they're not expecting to see a motorcycle. The key here is not to trust that anyone is going to see you. Ride like every driver on the road is distracted, because these days a lot of them are, and manage your space so that you've got options when they prove that you're right. Stay out of blind spots, especially at the right rear quarter of vehicles. If you can't see the driver's face in the side mirror, assume that they can't see you and don't know you're there either. Adjust your lane position to maximize visibility. In multi-lane traffic, that usually means the left or right third of your lane where your headlight shows up in their mirrors. And don't linger beside other vehicles. Either pass them decisively or fall back to open up space. The smart rider is always thinking a few seconds ahead, not just where traffic is, but where it's going to be. Because when that car drifts over, you don't have time to think. You only have time to react, and preparation turns that reaction into the right one. You're cruising along with a good rhythm in traffic. Maybe you got some music playing through the headset in your helmet, and you're just in that zone, and suddenly the brake lights up ahead of you start glowing red. This happens a lot here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. A few cars slam on their brakes to a stop, and now it's your turn to react. This one catches a lot of riders off guard, especially on busy roads or highways. Maybe someone has missed their exit up ahead of you. Maybe a car merged too closely. None of that matters. What matters is how you manage your space. The most important thing you can do here is to keep a good following distance. And my road strategy book recommends a minimum of 2 to 3 seconds at lower speeds, and even more as speeds increase or visibility drops. And especially if you don't consider yourself very good at emergency braking, you need to have even more following distance. That space is your life insurance policy. It gives you time to stop smoothly instead of emergency braking. As an added benefit, if you're able to stop in a much more controlled manner, so can the driver behind you. Good following distance not only helps you manage the road, it helps the driver behind you not run over you if traffic stops up ahead. But here's something a lot of riders overlook. Make sure you have an escape route. Don't just stare at the bumper in front of you. Look for gaps to the left or the right of the vehicle, a shoulder that you can get on, a clear lane beside you, or even an open path between the lanes if things go bad. If traffic behind you can't stop, that's where you need to go. So keep your eyes moving. Check those mirrors. Look up ahead. Know what's side to side on you. And keep your right wrist ready as well, because sometimes the safest move isn't to stop faster, but to move out of the way. And if you do have to stop quickly, use both brakes, not just the front brake, but the front and the rear brake. Keep your body as loose as possible, and keep your head and eyes up when you come to a stop in that motorcycle in first gear. That lets you balance, scan for threats behind you, and take off if that car behind you isn't slowing down. Sudden stops are one of those everyday emergencies. You might go hundreds of miles without a problem, and then one moment demands every bit of your awareness, your spacing, and your braking control. The smart rider is already ready when that happens. The truth is, most riders don't crash because they never saw the danger. They crash because they saw it too late, and their reaction made things worse. When something jumps out in front of you, a car pulls out, traffic stops, a dog runs into traffic, instinct kicks in. You grab a handful of front brake, or maybe you stomp on the rear brake, and suddenly the front tire locks up or the rear tire begins to slide out. In that split second, panic took over and skills took a back seat. Panic braking isn't just a lack of knowledge, it's a lack of training. That's why the field guide drills are so important. They teach your hands and feet what maximum braking feels like before you ever need to use it on the street. You learn how to squeeze and not grab the front brake to modulate pressure, not to stab at the controls. A good rider knows what their tires can handle. A smart rider has already tested it in a controlled space. If you're practicing your braking, focus on being smooth. Get the weight transferred to the front tire before you begin to increase pressure on that brake. Use the rear brake as support, not as a main stopping power, because as the weight shifts forward, you're getting less and less pressure on that rear brake. Keep your eyes up, your body relaxed, and look where you want to go, not what you're trying to avoid. Remember, smooth equals fast. A calm, trained rider can stop shorter than a panicked rider every single time. The unexpected will always test your reactions. The difference is, when you've practiced properly, your reaction's the right one and not the emotional one. Not every unexpected moment on a motorcycle comes from traffic. Sometimes it comes from the motorcycle itself. A flat tire, a broken cable, or a sudden loss of power can turn a routine ride into a test of composure and a heartbeat. 1 second everything's fine, the next your bike feels wrong, and the traffic is closing in behind you. The truth is, most of these problems can be prevented long before they ever hit you out on the street. That's why a good pre-ride inspection is so important, and why I created a new resource to help you with that, the Motorcycle Maintenance Logbook. So you can order this directly on Amazon for $10. Go to mcrider.com/am-books. Use this link below. You'll get right to the page that's got this book on it. You can order this book, the Field Guide or the Road Strategy books, right from that link. You can get this one right now for $10 on Amazon, and it's got pre-ride inspections, and then it's got plenty of places for you to log your routine maintenance so that you can make sure your bike is in good shape before you ever head out on the road. But even with good maintenance, things can still happen. That's where mindset matters. If you experience a sudden failure like a blown tire or an engine cutout, make sure you stay calm. Keep your eyes up, look where you want to go, roll off the throttle, don't grab or stab at the brakes, and let the motorcycle slow down on its own. Check your mirrors, know what's happening behind you, and look for a way to get off the road smoothly and under control. Preparation and awareness are the best defenses against the unexpected. The more you know your motorcycle and keep it maintained, the fewer surprises you'll face out on the road. We spend a lot of time practicing the things we expect, slow speed turns, braking drills, cornering technique, and all that's good. Those skills build the foundation of a good rider. But it's the unexpected that truly tests a rider. The car that turns left in front of you, the one that drifts into your lane, the traffic that suddenly stops in front of you, the moment panic wants to take over, or when your bike throws you a surprise all on its own. Every rider, no matter how skilled, will eventually face one of these moments. What separates a smart rider from a lucky one is preparation, the time you've spent building habits, not just practicing moves. Because when that moment comes, there's no time to think, no time to plan, only time to react. And if you've trained right, that reaction will be a smooth, calm, and controlled experience. You can't predict everything that's waiting out there, but you can prepare for it. That's the heart of being a smart rider with good road skills and road strategy. You're ready for the things that you don't plan on happening out on the road. Till next week, guys, it's Ken with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road. If you enjoyed this video, please consider becoming a member of MCrider. You get access to the forums and the field guide and a whole lot more. All the details can be found at mcrider.com/member.